Hello world! I can see the thing moving, so I know the audio's on. So hi! They're not starting coverage at 6:30. They're starting coverage at 6:51 p.m. Eastern Time. So, I'm not thrilled about that. Because I did not come prepared to kill a half hour, or to kill nearly an hour of time. So with that, I realized that we still don't have a bingo for tonight. So I'm going to show you guys how I make the launch bingo, which, you know, is a pretty straightforward process now that I found a good place for it. So I'm going to swap over to that. Flop. And look, the dogs are even resting peacefully. Puck's like, I heard something about resting peacefully. And I just realized that this doesn't say that we're waiting on this on the thing like it should. Which is very frustrating. So let me go back to host only while I fix that. Tisk tisk tisk. Annie's not ready. We'll set it to that. That should make it readable. And then... yeah, that's readable. Or at least it's better. I can't put an outliner on text. Sorry. So there. Don't walk away. Why are you walking away? He's walking away. So yeah, we're going to create our own bingo. If you have suggestions for terms to put in the bingo, please put it in the chat. So, hey Paranor, aren't you going to do your own stream tonight? Let's see, WGS. Isn't it WGS 10? On Delta 4. Is it 4 or 5? 4. All right. Oh no! Oh! You lost your wings? Oh. That's the worst, because now you have to go back and do the wing thing, and I'm not even too sure what's involved in that. Delta 4 M+. Alright, Ardenstro, hey! Hey, stranger, how you doing? As opposed to an Atlas 5. I didn't have an Atlas 5 on here. Was it ever Atlas 5? Oh my. If it was, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to open up yet another window, or just move things around. Yeah! So, let's see. I'm trying to come up with terms for the bingo, and I'm thinking they're going to say at some point, Wideband Global Satcom. So, WGS. I said Delta Phi. Oh, Delta 5. Yeah, it's Delta 4. There, I'll add it. Delta 4. Well, I appreciate you being here, Paranor. Again, if you have any suggestions for terms for bingo, put them in the chat. Because, yeah. Let's look up the Delta 4. Oh yeah, nominal has to. You're right. Nominal is almost like a free square. Nominal, we'll put dogs barking because the dogs are probably going to bark. These are things that happen when I stream. I mean, nominal better be a free space. It better be a free space. Where are they launching from? GTO? I didn't even look up. I think right now I was looking for their fuel. Lux and LH2. Liquid hydrogen? Oh my. No, that's not liquid hydrogen. That's lithium. Canaveral. Okay. I don't think that's how Canaveral is spelled, though. What is this? No, it is liquid hydrogen. I was right. I was right. It was liquid hydrogen. L's not for lithium anyways. GTO. Geosynchronous Transfer Orbit. Yeah, I remembered what GTO was instead of, you know, GTFO. It's alright. Your brain is allowed to be wonky. There we go. And then that's the red fiery stuff. Ooh. Ew. We'll put Air Force / DOD because part of me is like, I don't think those, or should those really be separate saddle or separate squares? I can't put any Russian word. I know, Tinkerbell. I hear you crying. I hear you crying. Here's the launch pad. SLC 37 Bravo. And how many stages does this thing have? Rapid disassembly? Oh, geez. Venting! That's a good one. Because they definitely totally say venting. I thought that was a Wikipedia link. It was not a Wikipedia link. Hey, Dante's Guide, welcome. I don't think I've seen you around here before. I got started earlier than I thought I had to. So here I am, getting bingo ready, because I didn't get bingo ready either. And, the whiny dog you hear is Tinkerbell, who is not in the correct spot for Cheerios. Meko Seko, good. What's TK? Oh, TKF. Oh, thanks. That's great. That is great to hear that you're from TKF. I know, Tinkerbell. So it was the M plus, so that means it has the medium plus boosters. So we probably have booster separation. And then, apparently I can't spell. Booster separation. State. I'll put first stage. Separation. We'll put ULA. United Launch Alliance. Are there? Oh, shoot. There are solar panels. Solar panels. We'll just put... Orbit feels like a freebie. Oh, fairing separation. That's another good one. Aha! Spelled it correctly this time. Is there a second stage separation with this rocket? I can't remember. Hey, Jandra. You kind of, slid in. But, yeah, Dante's, Seko is a second stage. Okay, so I would have a second stage separation, yeah? I'm going to say yeah. But what happens is normally before launch, ULA starts their broadcast 20 to 30 minutes early. And usually I play video games, but I didn't get Launch Bingo ready. And Launch Bingo is, you know, it's fun. And the, it'll probably go as upper stage separation. You know what? I will put upper in parentheses. Yeah. That's not how you spell upper, Annie. Okay, when the spacecraft separates from the upper stage. Okay. Use SEP to cut out chars. Nah, I think I'm just gonna leave it as upper stage. Because they're technically the same thing. Yeah, I know, right? And the dogs are literally just off camera. Get in the corner. Haven't you guys figured this out? They're like, we figured it out. Or either is spacecraft deployment. You know what? We'll add spacecraft deployment there. We'll add it. Let's see, this is a communications satellite. So we'll put communications. Why is it not making the things smaller? Is it because I have it? Alright, whatever. Yeah. How about I just... Communications, whatever. Part of their thing had warfighter, so we're gonna put warfighter in there, as much as I hate that term. Ooh, range safety officer. Good one. That's important. Cleared the tower. Let's see, we need to have liftoff. There's a terrible part of me that's like, put scrub. I mean, we really don't want scrub. No, you didn't miss the launch. No, they pushed the launch back. So, and speaking of that, we'll put launch window into the extra words. Max Q is not on here. Good call. Good call. Trying to think. Mission successful? Okay. I'll take it. Have you ever watched a launch before, Dantes? Tinkerbell. You don't get treats until you're on camera. I think this is part of the Block 2 add-on. Not one from a live feed, just the news. Okay, so... Oh! School bus. Hey, DPI! Oh no! Alright, so there was school bus, Max Q, liftoff, yeah, they're gonna start coverage in like 30 minutes. Yeah. Mission successful. And there was another one before I hit tab. And Control Z doesn't... Control Z. Pressure... Tinker has gone off in a huff. Oh, shoot. There was another one and I lost it and now I feel bad. Alright, so let me scroll back up. Range safety... Nope, we have range safety officer. We have cleared the tower. We have max Q. We have mission successful. We have school bus. Is that even the right... This one's not generated yet. Making a cup of tea doesn't sound like a half bad idea. Pressurize, pressurizing. Any more terms? Reminder, the more terms we add, the harder it is to win. Yeah, Guido, they had a last minute pushback on the launch window, which I think I have on here. Do I have a launch window? I don't have launch window. I think that's what I'm missing. Yeah, it got pushed back. So I guess they have like longer than a longer than an instantaneous launch window if they were able to do that. Sure. I'll add hold. Internal or internal power. That's often said. So Dante's, since you've seen, that's actually a good one. Delay, because that totally happened. It's a whole process, because what you've seen on the news is probably the, like 10 seconds, like T-minus 10, and then maybe 30 seconds into the flight, maybe up to a minute. There's a whole there's a whole list of things that they check, and these checklists are super important. Think of the checklist like a pilot goes through before you take off from the ground. It's kind of like that, only if things screw up, very expensive equipment is destroyed and people may die. So yeah, that's not terrifying or anything. The aborted launch with MS-10 back in what, October now? That was aborted because it either wasn't on the checklist or the checklist needed to be checklist needed to essentially be updated because they swapped the fuel in the oxidizer. So yeah, it takes a while, and there's a couple onboard things. So I have liquid hydrogen, but I'm just going to put hydrogen underneath. That way there's no probability of violation. So also, if you have any questions about satellites in particular, ask our instro, because he's really the expert. And one day he will host this. One day. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna figure out a setup, and then I'm gonna have both of us on the thing at once. I just haven't figured out the setup. So yeah, I clarified liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. You know what? For simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna make it oxygen and hydrogen, rather than call out during the thing. I used to work making government equipment. I know they go nuts with the checklist. Serial numbers on nuts and bolts, says Dante's Guide. Yeah. This is totally normal. Yeah, there's a way we can do it through Lightstream too, which might be easier, because we would send our signal from we would each send our own signal from OBS to the website, and there's less security problems that way. Like, nobody's giving out their stream key, I don't think. Yeah, chocolate sounds amazing. Yeah, I know you don't trust third party. but I'm thinking it might help with lag. I keep meaning to test it with you or Walker, but other things always come up. Okay. You probably unconsciously check off quite a long checklist before driving your car. Yeah, and there's actually a longer one. Ooh, a Discord call is totally an option, as well as a Skype call, or even Zoom. We have done those things before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like, I know I have a checklist before I get off on the scooter. And by scooter, I don't mean one of those little electric ones that end up in all sorts of places in cities. I mean, like, an older gas-powered Honda scooter. There's a checklist for that. And yeah, it's all mental. Okay. Dial in WSH style. That might actually be the way to do it. So it's not a Vespa, it's actually a little Honda, but yeah, if it helps to think of a Vespa, that's the kind of scooter I'm talking about. Yeah, it is a little Honda, which I find adorable. And my dad actually purchased a newer year of the same model of the CH80. It's like little Honda Elite, I think is what it's called. My dad purchased a newer year of the same model because mine's from... I was just looking at my insurance today. Let me find it. 1998. And I think the one my dad got is from 2002, so it's a little newer. It might be newer than that, but we're actually, yes, Honda Elite 80, exactly that DPI. So we're actually going to switch. So I'm going to get this nice, shiny Honda Elite 80, and my dad's going to get the white one that I have, which isn't that hard because they both currently reside in his garage because I'm not allowed to keep my scooter over the winter, which is very frustrating. Because today would have been a nice day to, like, would have been a little cold, but it would have been a nice day to go out and about and, I don't know, to the store by myself and not have to wait an hour on the bus. I'm not bitter. But, yeah, so we're going to swap, and I think he's going to try to sell my old one. He's put a lot of work into the newer one, and, he's put a decent amount of work into my older one. Mine is, was in good shape when we got it. Yes, as DPI says, the Elite 80 had a 23 model year run with only minor changes. This is correct. When I do go to my parents' house again, I will take pictures of, like, I don't know if they're side by side, but I'll take pictures of them both so you guys can see. Like, I swear the dashboard is almost exactly the same. They use all the same model, or they use the same service manual throughout the whole series. It's kind of amazing. Oh, and things are happening. They're not... We're just going to stick this in theater mode so you guys can see. Live commentary will begin in 17 minutes. So this is going to be the last call for bingo card terms. Kind of have them all on screen. Save and drop that bingo link. All right, so apparently we're gonna do this. All right, so I'm gonna click generate, and I like this one because, yeah, it's a very good product. It's been pretty popular around the world, from my understanding, and it's motorcycle laws in Ohio and a lot of other states are like, okay, if the engine is under 50 cc's, which I think that's cubic centimeter? I don't know. If it's under 50 cc's, you don't need a motorcycle endorsement, license, whatever. But the minute it's 50 cc's or higher is when you need the motorcycle endorsement. So I've had my motorcycle endorsement for, wow, for a hot minute. I had my motorcycle endorsement before I graduated high school. Let's just put it at that. And most of that time I spent not riding, like riding as in like driving or owning a motorcycle. And yeah, so this has been my first motorcycle. And this is currently the only vehicle that I own. But yeah, there are people in Ohio that don't know about this rule and will go out and buy scooters and be like, oops, sorry. So yeah, check your local laws. So it's not really a big market for the 80. I mean, I can't go above something like 43 miles per hour, which I'm sorry, I don't know what that is in kilometers, but some of the roads I have to take between this house and my parents' house, the speed limit's 45. And I always worry about cars running over me. Always. So we're just going to open this back up. And yeah, that's only mildly terrifying. Alright, dogs, I got the Cheerios out. You going to go to the right spot? And now the Cheerio hunting begins. But yeah, I think it's adorable that I have a little Honda because my parents drive Honda Goldwings. And they have a matching pair and one's been triked. So I just like to say I have a baby Goldwing. There's a Honda product called the Silverwing that's a scooter. And is something I wouldn't mind owning. My card gives me 2 legit chances to win even before liftoff. That's fine. Yeah, I'd like the Honda Silverwing, but that's out of my price range. And I think my dad said the newest Goldwing is automatic. Like, you don't have to worry about changing gears. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's not the step through, which makes it not a scooter. So, what the automatic gears shifting on a motorcycle, yeah, it seems pretty cool. The only reason why I would enjoy it, because other than the fact I don't have to change gears on the scooter, is it's been a long time since I've changed gears on a motorcycle. In fact, I will probably, if I ever get to the point where either myself or favorite human owns a proper motorcycle, I will probably have to go and take another safety course, which, if it's available in your state, I strongly encourage you to take it. In Ohio, if you take it and pass the test within the safety course, you don't have to take the test at the BMV. You just take your paperwork and go and get your license endorsement. So that's pretty cool. Actually, I have 2 duplicate terms. What duplicate terms do you have? Now I feel like I need to go back and look at the call list. Oh, school bus is on here twice. Well, I'm not fixing it. And liftoff and max Q's twice. Okay, I think when I hit tab, and liftoff and a few other things. Maybe when I hit tab, I broke it. That's alright. That's alright. Pull that back up, switch that back over. Our instructor says, I've never changed gears on a motorcycle. It's been decades since I've changed gears on any two-wheeled vehicle, for that matter. Yeah, no, there's no bingo prizes. Y'all win just for the sake of winning. Part of me is like, yeah, we'll do prizes. No, I'm terrible about getting things in the mail, so no prizes. I have 2 more things I still need to get into the mail, and one of them is from the Hangout-a-thon. And the person that hasn't received theirs yet is incredibly patient. And yeah. So yeah. But yeah, no, there's no prizes for bingo. Could be like, have a digital item that I have in my Humble Bundle, but a lot of you aren't gamers, so... DPI says, actually, as today's payload, WGS were one of the first to use a lot of cross-strappable smaller region beams instead of being primarily focused on regional global coverage. That is a super cool factoid, Instro. Anyone need Stellaris? I have a spare key from Humble Bundle. Oh, it's Stellarium that's free. Are you talking Universe Sandbox, maybe? I don't have any spare keys from Universe Sandbox. And I'm not sure if I could get them to donate more. Maybe, maybe not. But, you know, they need to make money. Oh, Stellaris is a game. It's so close to Stellarium that I'm like, what? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Guido. Okay, so I'm going to back up for a whole lot of stuff. Guido was around for our first Hangout-a-thon back in, oh gosh, I was still an undergrad, so it would have had to have been between 2011 and 2016. Yeah. And he won stuff then. Like, we had something during the Word Beecher Planetarium segment, and I had a thumb drive. In fact, I literally just found one earlier today. I don't know where the cap is to it. But the thumb drive that Guido got, come here, get untangled, is, it has, pull up OBS so I can see. It has CosmoQuest on one side, which is probably really hard to see, and it's not focusing right. And on the other side, it has Word Beecher Planetarium. So, and it's engraved. It's not a very big thumb drive. We ordered them to distribute Cosmic Castaways on, and we had a whole bunch of extras. And the X on Guido's isn't colored in. I colored mine in because I have several of these just kind of hanging around. Like, actually here's another one. I have 2 of them at my desk right now. And the one I showed you has Mint on it. That's Mint, the operating system. And yeah, I don't have caps for these, which is very unfortunate. Oh, I found a cap. I cleaned my desk today. So, yeah, we were going to send it directly to you, Guido, and Dr. Pamela was like, no, send it to me. I'll make sure it gets to him. And then I'm in her attic, and I'm going through things, and I see an envelope from the Ward Beecher Planetarium with my handwriting and your name on it, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. So we just kind of got it, I made sure it went into whatever box of stuff you got. So, yeah, it is 32 gigabytes, but to me that's small. Because the when we bumped the show up from 1K to 2K, and by 1K I really mean 1 kibby, and by 2K I really mean 2 kibby. That's 124 by 124 and 248 by 248. The size increased as well, and we needed to get larger thumb drives. Our instro says, I am jealous of how you get to just go through our attic like it's no big deal. You were up there too. You were up there too. I was, she had a talk, I think, the night I got flown in. So, hey, Cheerios for the dogs. Here's the Cheerios. Make it rain! But yeah, Pamela, I was left unsupervised. So things like pictures of dogs and find anything that can go in boxes. Like that occurred. So, our instro says, I am not so secretly convinced her attic is actually Narnia. I mean, I'd live in the attic. I would. Hands down, I'd live in that attic. So, yeah. You want some more? Yeah. Hey, Q. So, I have it up, and they're going to start commentary in about 4 minutes. Yeah, there were a lot of boxes. And no, Pamela does not have cats. I mean, dogs can go in boxes if you take the cats out. My dogs don't, my dogs really don't go in boxes. Hey, YYZ! Hey, YYZ's mom! No, he is not part Pomeranian, but he's part of that same family, both Pomeranians and American Eskies. Hey, Puck, you need to sit pretty for YYZ's mom. Now look at the camera. No, why are you making this hard? So, that's Puck in all of his glory. And, you can see his tail. Hey, Fluff. There you go. But, Eskies and Pomeranians, because Puck's technically an American Eskimo, they're in that same Spitz family, so they look like they're related. So he's been described as a Pomeranian with a bad haircut. So, yeah. Puck, don't bark. Actually, no, come here. Sit where they can see you and not just your tail. Come here. Come on. Over here. I swear, this is like pulling teeth. Puck, speak. 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 Are you telling my Wizet's mom hi? Speak. Come on. Yeah. All right. And just for that, Puck, come here. Puck. He's too interested in the Cheerios. I don't know, Keeper of Maps. I don't know why they have 9 minutes on the clock. And yes, for any of you playing bingo, that totally counted as dogs barking. So, but yeah, they are good dogs, Dante's. They bark a lot. So we just kind of work it in as, you know, they're expressing their opinions. Tinker has figured out, sit right there. Sit. Oh, you're gonna lay down instead? Sit. Good boy. Is he still in frame? Where are they? Oh, this is... Wait there, Puck. Oh, they're both in frame. Somebody screen cap this. Oh, he moved. I was gonna say, somebody screen cap that, because that's never gonna happen again. Alright. Because he sat so nicely. Look, you get a high value treat. I bought treats for the cat, but the cat won't come out of hiding. That was a cat treat that he got. It's just salmon before anybody panics. All right, here are the Cheerios. Make it rain! This is my dog's favorite time of day. Yes, master, I will make it rain O's. It could be human treats. They are marketed as... Yeah, they're totally marketed as cat treats. See all the cats across the top? And it is just freeze-dried salmon. There's nothing else. So, yeah. But the cat... Which... Now he's meowing. The cat doesn't seem to care for any of them. I haven't gotten him to eat one, but the dogs will eat it. So, and the dogs really are into it, so that's like a high value treat. Fenmil says, YYZ, tell your mom to be careful. Puck and Tink can really mind control people. Yeah, they can. Dante says, it is a cat. It does as it pleases. Oh my goodness. He's been asking for... He's a very elderly cat, for those of you that don't know. And his teeth are mostly missing. So he has to eat wet canned food. He has dry food available, but I don't think he's been eating it. I haven't heard him crunching at it for a while. So... He will beg for food when Favorite Human comes down in the morning. He will beg for food when I come down in the morning. If the dogs bark for dinner, because they do a very specific bark at mealtime, he'll magically appear out of nowhere and beg for dinner. So, yeah. Yeah. YYZ's mom says, I have a cat, 17 years old. She does the controlling. Yeah, this is pretty much my cat. I'm not even entirely too sure how old he is anymore. I just know he's elderly. Oh, things are happening.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission
3,
director. You have permission to launch.
We have ignition of the RS-68A main engine. And we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket.
Mach 1.
All right.
And we have indication of spacecraft separation.
Turn that thing off now.
At Space Launch Complex 37, a Delta IV rocket is fueled and ready to launch the WGS-10 mission for the United States Air Force. Good evening and welcome to Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. I'm Andrea
I
Lenhoff.
forgot my bingo card.
I'm a systems engineer on the Vulcan Centaur development program. The launch team is not currently working any issues and we're proceeding towards liftoff at 7:11 p.m. Eastern Time. A few minutes from now, the count will enter a planned 10-minute hold. There are 2 planned holds in our 9.5-hour launch count. The planned holds gives our team additional time to resolve any issues prior to entering the terminal count. Clay Flynn, the 45th Space Wing Weather Officer, recently briefed the launch team on current weather conditions here at Cape Canaveral. The probability of violating launch constraints is 0%. The ground winds are 16 knots out of the southeast, and the temperature is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So the weather is within the launch commit criteria and looks favorable for the planned T0 of 7:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Today's flight will take a southeasterly heading away from our launch pad here at Cape Canaveral. Let's take a look at what else we can expect to see today.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, RS-68A engine ignition, 1, and we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket.
The Delta IV RS-68A engine and 4 solid rocket motors, or SRMs, ignite to lift the rocket away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Delta IV begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the pressure the vehicle experiences during flight. The Delta IV reaches Mach 1 with speed of sound at 34 seconds. The SRMs burn out 1 minute 33 seconds into flight. 7 seconds later, the first 2 SRMs are jettisoned, followed by the remaining 2 SRMs. During ascent, WGS-10 is protected inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. At approximately 3 minutes 19 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned. Approaching main engine cutoff, Delta IV is burning propellant at a rate of 991 pounds per second, located 109 miles in altitude and 229 miles downrange. At 3 minutes 56 seconds, propellant levels deplete and the booster engine shuts down. 6 seconds later, the Delta IV separation system activates to release the first stage. The vehicle now weighs a little more than 9% of what it did at liftoff. At 4 minutes 15 seconds, the second stage main engine ignites. The second stage and WGS satellite are now in the first burn. This burn will last a little more than 15 minutes. 19.5 minutes into flight, cutoff of the main engine, or MECO-1, occurs. The mission now enters a 10-minute coast phase. Nearly 30 minutes after liftoff, the engine is restarted for a 3-minute 20-second burn. Approximately 3.5 minutes later, the second engine cutoff occurs. At 36 minutes 50 seconds, the second stage releases the Wideband global Satcom satellite for the United States Air Force.
Okay, so you should have checked off MECO, SECO, spacecraft deployment. Oh shoot,
For
they
most
said Air
missions,
Force?
our customers provide artwork, which is added to the payload fairing. For today's mission, there are 10 stars organized around the perimeter to reflect the 10 WGS missions. The Hang 10 and Shaka hand symbol pay homage to Boeing's Southern California Satellite Production Center and the local pastime of hanging 10 toes off the front of a surfboard. At the bottom we read, "For the Warfighter," to remind us of the impact and purpose of the WGS constellations. Finally, the platypus with a ray brings us full circle as it re-emerges from the very first WGS logo.
Okay, so you should have Warfighter, WGS, Air Force, MECO, Cape Canaveral, First Stage Separation, Hold, United Launch Alliance.
This is Delta Mission Control. We are about to enter a planned 10-minute hold.
They're not super chatty during this time.
T-minus 4 minutes in holding. This is a 10-minute built-in hold.
ALC, please adjust a clock for a new T0 of 23.
Okay, this again? Where's that add-on?
Built in Decatur, Alabama, the Delta IV Medium Plus 5.4 includes a common booster core powered by an Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-68A engine and 4 orbital ATK solid rocket motors. An Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10 B2 engine powers the Delta Cryogenic second stage. WGS-10 is protected during ascent by a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. Final launch preparations began on February 18th.
All right, YouTube. Since we're gonna be like this, apparently now we have to refresh every 30 seconds.
Final preparations began at Space Launch Complex 37. Using 40 hydraulic cylinders at pressures nearing 3,500 psi, the 10 million pound MST was raised 8 inches and rolled back.
I'm not sure, Dantes. I'm really not. This add-on is supposed to be auto-refreshing for me.
25 minutes to roll the MST to its final position, 345 feet north of the Delta IV rocket. The Delta IV rocket stands 217 feet tall, or about 21 stories, and weighs more than 900,000 pounds fully fueled. The RS-68A main engine and 4 solid rocket motors combine to produce approximately 1.7 million pounds thrust at liftoff. About 4 minutes later, at stage separation, it weighs just 10% of what it did at liftoff. This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. Today's launch will deliver the 10th satellite for the Wideband Global Satcom. Built by Boeing, WGS is an important element of a new high-capacity satellite communication system, providing enhanced communications capabilities to U.S. and allied warfighters for the next decade and beyond. Each WGS satellite provides more wideband communications capacity than the entire defense satellite the Constellation WGS is augmenting. Later in the broadcast, we'll learn more about the WGS mission when I'm joined by Tim Maurer, Boeing software engineer, and Sam Wiley, U.S. Air Force Chief of Business Operations. Also, make sure to stay tuned after launch because we're doing a game of trivia on Twitter, featuring questions about past WGS missions. A few minutes after liftoff, questions will be posted on ULA's Twitter account, and the first person to comment on the question with the correct answer will receive a very special prize. Answers and winners will be announced shortly before spacecraft separation. In addition to watching our webcast, you can always follow live mission progress at ulalaunch.com.
Ernstro says, incidentally, those beams can also be cross-strapped between frequencies, so a C-band terminal might be communicating with an X-band terminal somewhere else, etc., 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 which is actually pretty cool. They're not super chatty during their pre-show, so we have time to kind of sneak some talk in. Alright, it seems to be behaving better. And I know that's a little bit disruptive, but
LC1 is AC.
Go AC.
Okay, we are still working, troubleshooting on the CBC bottle press and the high flow demand. We do not have a workable plan yet, and we need to continue our troubleshooting. I do not have an estimate for you at this point.
Roger that. And for the team, I'll continue down just prior to the L7 pole, and we'll stand by at that point. LD, LC net, CNet 1.
LDL1.
And with that expectation, as stated, I'll proceed down towards the L7 pole, hold off there, and at that point, I'll give you direction. We'll extend the hold.
Concur.
All communications switch to channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LCC.
RC, verify solar radiation limits acceptable for launch.
Verified.
Terminal count briefing. If a condition exceeds a launch constraint any time after a terminal count status check, hold on channel 1, identify their station, and briefly state the reason for the hold. Flight control, LC.
Flight control.
Perform launch on time verification. OSM, verify the whole fire switch is in the proceed position.
Whole fire switch is in the proceed position.
alright, it should auto refresh in a second.
Verified.
As you just heard, the team is currently working an issue. We plan on extending the built-in hold to work this issue. This evening's flight is dedicated in memory of Kurt Hushley, a colleague, friend, and patriot. During his 30-year aerospace career, Kurt held critical roles on multiple programs, including High Indo-Atmospheric Defense Interceptor, Nighthawk, Space Station, and various classified programs. He finished his career as electrical installation. Kurt was a supportive coworker, sharing his wealth of design knowledge, as well as a consummate professional, always able to deliver a quality product while adapting to design changes and keeping pace with the rapid launch rate. Kurt was a caring individual, dedicated to his career, family, and friends. He exuded joy and humor wherever he went and will be remembered and missed by all he touched.
Oh, I forgot to mark off a few things. I know. She is demanding souls. She totally is.
SYS. NLC, this is flight control on 1.
Go.
Launch on time, verified.
Roger. Okay, all personnel, all steps are complete prior to status check, except for the troubleshooting we're working on with the pneumatic system. All personnel will stand by, and LC, that one.
Pneumatic system? It'll refresh in a second. I'm mostly reminding myself of this because I want to touch it and break it. You're not getting one unless they launch? Yeah. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. Our instro adds with cross-strapping. Cross-strapping is generally more effective the higher frequency you're using, since the higher frequency, the smaller the beam coverage tends to be. Well, that's pretty cool.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes in holding. We remain in hold as preparations for launch continue. Soon, launch conductor Scott Barney will pull the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown. 27 engineers and managers are pulled for system status and readiness to proceed. This is the final status check before launch for all Delta vehicle systems, ground systems, the spacecraft, and the U.S. Air Force Eastern Range. The vehicle system readiness pool includes electrical systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants.
A bit unnerving to not being able to. Veronica's like, I'm tired of listening to Tinker whine. All right, here are the Cheerios. Speak. Aw, thank you, Veronica. And make it rain. I think one went in my hair. It's hard to say. They'll find it later. Tink made me buy bits. Yeah. She's figured this out. between the two, Puck is easier to train, but he's not as problem solving, I guess. And Tinker, because if you ask Puck to do something, he'll do it pretty much right away. Like, hey Puck, sit. Come on. Why are you making me look bad now? He knows there's treats involved. But anyways, please? Tinker, when I was training her, like, Puck would do it just to see me be happy, but Tinker, when I was training her, you could see the gears spin in her head. Like, what do I get if I sit? Hey, both of you, sit. Sit. Ha! They're both sitting. I win.
If you're just joining us, the team is currently working an issue as we remain in the planned hold. We will continue to update you as information becomes available.
Oh, so did the hold get extended? Oh, I won't forget the goodies. This is for Tinker. Puck, this one's for you. There you go. Didn't have quite enough time to get up to Canaveral. I mean, it's a bit of a drive. Florida is not exactly a small state. Journey started to ask, when you leave the house, do they go on a terror doing everything they were told not to do that they can attempt to do? Tinker likes to get in the trash can, which is bigger than she is. And it's a smart human trash can, so it closes automatically. But she's figured out if she can grab the plastic, you know, the bin liner with her teeth, she can jump up and grab it and pull it down. She can knock the trash can down. So sometimes we actually have to lock the trash can before we leave. What else does she do? But yeah, she mostly just gets into food. And if it's in a plastic bag, like, oh, I threw it away. But no, I didn't. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So, the plastic bag, like, for cat treats, is no different than, you can't see it really well, but a Lego bag. And I have come home to find tiny little poly bags of Legos just torn apart because my dog thought they were treats. Oh my goodness, our instro. Yeah, Lady Pembroke, it is almost that bad, which, it's only the kitchen trash she gets into. She doesn't have access to the bathroom trash. She leaves the mail trash alone. She leaves the trash by my computer desk alone, but I make it a point to not put food or food products in there. But yeah, that's why we got a locking trash can. Which I highly recommend it if you have a dog. I know, I hear you crying. Ernstro says, I did a SpaceX launch one day on the spur of the moment, arriving on site with mere minutes to spare prior to launch. It turned into a 19-hour day from Athens, Georgia to the Cape and back. # worth it. That's a lot, Ernstro. DPI says, one day I shall visit a SpaceX launch too. Don't know about the year, though. Maybe 2048? I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Our Instro, I think, is a licensed amateur radio operator. I used to be. I kind of let it lapse. So now I'd have to take the test again. You're not? Our Instro is not a ham? What? You would ace that test. Go do it.
The broadcast you are currently listening to. We also just started a blog which can be viewed at our website, ulalaunch.com. Also, to stay up to date with the most recent launch information, please visit our social media launch at Twitter, and on Instagram.
That's exciting. Chandra says Das is going to get a tech license for ham. That's super exciting. Alright, why aren't you refreshing? I want to touch the button. I'm not going to touch the button. Alright, it's taking... Oh, there it goes. Lady Pembroke says, I was in Orlando with friends in '99 when a shuttle launch was scheduled. 2 of us made it almost all the way there and pulled over on the side of the highway to watch along with a bunch of other drivers. Nur says, Arnstro, totally worth it. I was lucky enough to see a shuttle trundling towards the pad when I visited in the early 90s. That's probably all I'll see in person, though I count myself lucky to see that. Yeah. Fenville teases Arnstro and says, Arnstro is probably responsible for all the ghosted calls we get when he plays with spacecraft.
LC, this red line monitor.
Go red line monitor.
Roger, we picked up an OTC on the second stage, LOX airborne tank. Delta pressure. It's just above the upper limit of 4.76.
Roger.
This doesn't
ACLC net 1.
AC on 1.
Yes, RLM is reporting an alarm, second stage LOX airborne tank.
Yeah, that would actually have been pretty cool, watching the space shuttle and ISS chase each other across the sky shortly before or after docking or separation. That would actually be pretty cool. Watching Soyuz dock last night was super cool. Super cool. Yeah, this always happens to me. This always happens to me when I'm streaming YouTube for you guys. DPI, what browser are you using? Also, when it refreshes without seeing the gray screen, that's a automatic refresh that I have going on. So it looks unstable, but that's literally to keep me from pressing a button. So you're using Chrome. You know what? For giggles. No, that's not the right stream. For giggles. Where is it? All right. So I'm going to unmute this. We're going to try it on Chrome. close Firefox. We're gonna give this a shot. Because if it doesn't crash, it doesn't crash. I mean, it's worth a shot to try. And Paranor's right. They'll at least make sure their stuff works. Canada Kim asks, why do you have to retake the ham test?
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The team is currently working the issue reported earlier through a test. While we wait, let's look at some launch footage from the previous 9 WGS launches, all atop United Launch Alliance, Atlas V, and Delta IV rockets.
Alright, so I'm going to turn this down. So I have to retake the ham test because I was 11 or 12 when I got my license. And the license is good for 10 years. So I was 22. I may have been in Kuwait. I was probably in Kuwait the year that it was due to be renewed. And then I guess they give you another 10 years to renew and keep your call sign. But no, what happens now is I would go back to take a test. They'd give me a whole new call sign, and then I'd have to go and request my old call sign. And then there's extra fees and stuff involved with that, including with renewal. So it's annoying, but especially because I don't think they've even gotten all the way around back to the beginning. So yeah, I don't know why the American radio or something does that. That's the ARRL, that's Alpha Romeo Romeo Lima. I don't know why the ARRL does that. I don't. And it is totally annoying. And Keeper for Life says in Canada it's for life. Also, like, your what's the word I'm looking for? Your customized plates. You don't have to pay extra every time you renew your license plates to. In Ohio, you do, which is weird. He had a 2-letter? Like a 2x2? Aw. Thank you. Oh, it is all these, What is Echolink? Keeper of Maps? Or not Keeper of Maps, but Fenmill. Yeah, there's a small fee, but you don't have to pay that fee every time you renew. In Ohio, you have to pay that small, and it's not a small fee. You pay an additional fee along with your plates, and then you have to pay that additional customized fee every time you renew your plates. It's not a one and done. So, yeah, it's annoying. I have the volume up, right? I should. Well, I'm glad that's not dragging up in a place it shouldn't be. Yep, I have the volume up. I wonder what's going on. Keeper of Map says, I was grandfathered into HF. Yeah, the feed here is behaving. I just need to make it, ooh. You got to, operate a 2x1. I got to operate a 2x2 for, I think, my local club back in the day. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. When I originally got into ham radio, the original thought that my dad and I had was that I would get into where the computers interfaced with the radios, and that just never happened. And we have our handhelds somewhere, but again, I'm not currently licensed. I think my dad and my mom are the only ones licensed. Like, all four of us in my family had a license at one point, which was kind of adorable.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. 2 tests have been run to resolve the issue reported earlier, and both have been successful. We are still awaiting an update on a new T0.
They've blown right past that. You know what? I'll say it and it'll count. They've blown right past that 7-Eleven launch and have essentially been in a delay for the last 13 minutes or so. Can't run HF in my apartment. Well, I mean, that's totally an understandable thing. And they're going to have trivia on Twitter. And Keeper of Maps is saying they have a 2-hour launch window. I can't remember if that's in the call list. Paranor says they have been saying hold a lot. Journey started asks, with the internet, is ham radio getting less popular? Hey, congratulations on the bingo, DPI and Fenmill. Congratulations. I'm going to count it as you both win. So now, how about... Because you can play multiple games on bingo on the same card, and I can't remember what it's called, but if you have all of the squares X'd off, like if your entire card is marked, that's the bingo game we're playing now. So we're still playing. Blackout. Thank you. And I was in the middle.
LCN 1 is AC.
Gracie.
Okay, radio out brief. Both of the anomalies we've been working.
Roger, LD Net 1.
LD on 1.
MD Net 1.
MD 1.
Proceed, AC.
Okay, first one was the second stage LOX Delta P that had the RLM trip. We have reviewed that. It was based on the situation at the time. No impact to proceeding with count. Our recommendation is proceed.
LC concurs, LD.
LD concurs.
MD.
MD concurs.
Second was the ongoing attempts to establish the booster bottle press scenario. We have established and shown repeatability with our latest plan. The P&E operator has shown that the recovery works fine with the set points we've established. We're recommending disabling 2 lines in RLM. That'd be line item 1 and 9. And we've established with the P&E operator also the limits to be monitored to, and at what point it would need to call hold if it does not make it. We do have confidence in this plan and recommend proceeding.
LC concurs, LD.
LD concurs.
MD.
MD concurs.
PNE, LC Net 1.
P&E's on 1.
Roger. First, Q verify CBCs at flight bottles are at flight pressure.
CBC bottles are at flight pressure.
Roger. And you are ready to proceed with the anomaly team recommendation.
Yes, I've been listening into the anomaly team recommendation and ready to proceed with that.
Roger. RLM, LC.
Go ahead.
Please disable line items 1 and 9 for anomaly team direct.
Roger, inward. Line items 1 and 9 have been disabled and verified in the Redline Monitor program.
Roger.
Good night, Baryonic Man. Thanks for joining us.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The launch team has worked 2 issues and is ready to proceed with the launch count. We are still waiting on the official announcement of a new T0.
So, we don't have a new T0, but since the launch window is 2 hours, so Dantes, if you're still watching, a lot of the launches now have something called instantaneous windows, meaning it either goes when it's scheduled or it doesn't. ULA, I think, is one of the ones that has ULA and Electron. I don't remember if that's the right rocket company. Rocket Lab. ULA and Rocket Lab tend to have longer launch windows, and because Rocket Lab launches not out of the US, they have even more leeway in their launch times. And I can't remember Arianespace doing anything other than a instantaneous. Our instro is saying it depends upon the mission orbit involved. Okay, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. For sun-synchronous orbits, instantaneous windows are the norm. Okay, I may not remember this, our instro, and I apologize, but that makes sense. For GEO, and I'm assuming GTO, missions, they're a bit less important. Yeah, more of a margin for error. I swear I made coffee today, guys. I swear I've had coffee today. Don't start. I'm even making more coffee right now. Geosynchronous Earth orbit. That's what I thought.
LC on this AC.
Go AC.
Okay, we need to readdress the Delta P second stage lock recommendation. Some additional information has been reviewed, and I need to go to 6 please.
Roger. Proceed to net 6. Provide a recommendation.
We'll go.
So GEO is geosynchronous Earth orbit, and GTO is geosynchronous transfer orbit. I am getting better at remembering these. But yeah, no, I've had coffee, I've made coffee, or I had coffee. I'm making coffee right now. I did some accidental chemistry where I mixed lemon simple syrup with milk. Don't do it, people. There's still lemon in that lemon syrup. Our instro adds most of the window requirements there depend on how long you can keep a launch-ready vehicle on the pad without either launching it or else shutting it down and resetting. No, Keeper of Maps and Paranor, I don't think this is encouraging at all. No, I should have coffee on the bingo sheet though. No, something just didn't look right as soon as I added the milk. And I dumped out his entire glass. It was 4 shots of cold brew in there. Canada Kim, bingobaker.com. This has been a fantastic resource. It is easy to set up bingo cards for whatever, and there's already pre-existing bingo cards. So, yeah, bingobaker.com is where I got the bingo cards. And before ULA's coverage, we sat here and we created this bingo card, which I thought was pretty fun. So, we might do that again.
LC is Redline Monitor.
Go Redline Monitor.
Roger, we did trip the same OTC on the Delta P that we had discussed earlier, and the anomaly team's discussing it on 6.
Copy that.
Yeah, I don't think Favorite Human wanted buttermilk in his coffee this morning. Our Instro adds, missions to the rest of the solar system tend to be in between this regard windows of a few seconds to hours depending on the planetary alignments and launch location relationships. So yes, sometimes how the planets align does affect your day. Mostly if you're going to launch rockets. Yeah, coffee, buttermilk is... And I don't know. To me it was like, oh, it's just flavored syrup. Favorite human needs to be a shirt. I know, right? Torlak, hello, welcome. Torlak says, LOL, astrology rage quit. Canada Kim says, maybe I can get into it next time. Probably meaning setting up the bingo, yeah? I enjoyed setting up the bingo before the launch. What about you all that helped me? Ah, see, if you're lurking, how can you participate in bingo? You would be that creepy, not creepy, you would be that sneaky one. It'd be like, I'm gonna play bingo on the sly. And then I'm just gonna call out bingo. You know, launching a rocket really is rocket science, says Fenmill. I know. Oh, you're not creepy, Torlak. I don't find you creepy. Just a lot of engineering. I'm gonna see. The dogs look so pathetic right now. I'm gonna see if I can manage to show you. So good thing you didn't go, Keeper. Oh, he moved. But have a dog snoot. Boop. You got a blackout bingo?
LC on 1 is AC. Radar
Yeah.
brief the second stage Delta P issue.
Roger, LD net 1.
LD on 1.
MD net 1.
MD on 1.
Proceed, AC.
Okay, team evaluated a little further, recognized we were close to the top of the limit. We have recommended a new topping target and also the disabling of line item 272 on RLM. And with that, we recommend proceeding.
Roger, and that new topping target is set now, correct?
That is correct.
Roger. LC concurs, LD.
LD concurs.
MD.
MD concurs.
RLM, LC.
Go ahead.
Please disable line item 272.
Roger, and work.
Yeah. I don't know what RLM stands for.
Line item 272 is disabled and verified in the program.
Roger.
Torlak asks, did they basically just say, hey, we have a warning light, can we just disable it? Yes. Pretty much. Arnstro is saying, if I recall correctly, RLM stands for real-time...
LC LD on 1.
Go LD.
Yes, sir. Please coordinate a new T0 of 23:52.
Roger, 235200.
Good copy.
RC, LC net 1.
RC and 1.
Please coordinate a new T0 of 235200.
That was 2352 Zulu.
Correct.
Copy and work.
ALC, set the clock for 2352 Zulu.
Roger.
They said 23, right? Did they say 2353?
LC, ALC.
Go ALC.
Countdown clock has been set for a new T0 of 23:52. We're currently at L-14 minutes.
Roger.
Yeah, GMT, because
L
they're in
minus
the
14 minutes.
they're in the same time zone as I am, so that would be -4, 23 minus 4 is 19. 1952 is 7:52 p.m. So
This is Delta Mission Control at T-4 minutes and holding. As you just heard, the team has established a new T0 of 7:52 p.m. Eastern Time.
and as far as Ignoring a warning light. Keeper of Maps is saying it's more along the lines of, we know that there's going to be a light, but can it be ignored? Oh shoot, Florida does have CDT and EDT. I forgot about that. That's
LCRC
right.
that one.
Go RC.
The new T0 of 23:52 has been coordinated and approved by the range.
Roger. Okay, all personnel, our clocks are set. We have an approved T0. Just under L minus 13 minutes. We'll pick up the status check at L minus 7 minutes.
Yeah, I forgot about the panhandle. Keeper is still in... Keeper's still in Florida. And I think he's actually 2 hours away from the launch site. But that would have been kind of a late drive back. So, yeah. Keeper of Maps says he is in Jupiter, Florida, and because he said it, I'm repeating it. And I just want to share with you all that he has seen Jupiter from Jupiter, Florida, and this makes me immensely happy. Immensely. You have no idea. It does not take much for me to get excited. Tinker, you're a little bit off target. Just a little bit. Yeah, I was wondering about...
RC on net 1.
Go RC.
TDRS is red at this time, unable to support mandatory telemetry collection. We are no-go for TDRS.
Roger.
Expected resolution is beyond our currently planned T0.
Copy.
I think it's scrub. Arnster says, lol, CosmoQuest, I'm totally using that on someone next time appropriate. Fenmill says, I was at Navy Basic and got to see a shuttle launch when it was pretty high up. After launch, it was an evening launch. For sure heard it come back. Big sonic boom. Oh my. Scrubbity dub dub. Yeah, I think it's a scrub. TDRS? I remember that. Why do I remember that? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Oh, I'm thinking of LES. It's like, it ends with an S. Resolution time beyond the launch window seems like a bad thing, says DPI. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a scrub and they just haven't decided it's going to be a scrub. Tinkerbell. You're not in Prime Jedi mind trick.
This is Delta
area.
Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. An issue with NASA's Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System, which provides mandatory collection of Delta 4 ascent data, will delay liftoff beyond our new 7:52 p.m. Eastern launch time.
Thank you, Veronica. I don't know where the fluffy one is. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I'm just amused that you both are logged in Twitch chatting. Yeah, keyboard and phone are amazing. I think the most frustrating thing would be trying to chat while on the PlayStation. I know some people can type quickly on the PlayStation, but I don't know how. I'm very slow. Dave, get them a net satellite. Do it, Dave! I know, little one. And there's Cheerio dust everywhere. You gonna help me clean it? Gboard swiping is pretty quick, mostly. Yeah. I use the little sticks. Sorry, Dave, but I can't do that. I can't do that, Dave.
LD, LC, net 1.
LD on 1.
Yeah, with the issue reported by RC with the Tetris 41 issue, I recommend extending a hold at this time.
LD concurs.
They're going
All right,
to...
team. Monitor all your systems. Launch vehicle readiness prepared. We'll allow the range team to work the issue. And look for a successful resolution of that and pick a T0 within our window.
Alright, you wanna know what? I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna stretch my legs, and I think I might go get an adult beverage because we've reached that level. So I'll be right back. I'm amused by Q's comment while I was getting my adult beverage. The warning light has the wrong color, and they are going to exchange the LED. That's almost as bad as one of my old cars. Somebody just unplugged the warning light. Like, this is constantly on. We don't need this on. It's annoying. Because it had to be inspected. And inspections aren't a thing in Ohio, so when it was inspected, the inspector's like, yeah, we're going to find something wrong with it. I'm like, I don't think you are. No, we're going to find something wrong. Lo and behold, that was one of the things they found wrong. And no one had ever thought to attach the code reader to it. Normalization of degradation. KSC launches will not harm any Kerbals. Tinkerbell, first you were begging for second dinner, and now you continue to beg for bits. Go over in the camera and beg for bits.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The range is working a tracking satellite issue that is a requirement for launch. The Delta IV is currently ready to launch and awaits a resolution and new T0. The window tonight extends to 9:05 Eastern Time. The venerable Delta family of rockets have been launching into space for decades. Let's take a look at the amazing history of the Delta rocket.
Alright, I'm going to mute that through the wrong thing so I can go back and mute it through the right thing and then unmute it on the right thing. Arnstro says, things have been going wrong and people simply accept it over time instead of fixing the underlying issue. Yeah, this is a thing. Canada Kim asked me if Tinker's a hobbit. Tinker's a dachshund. I think dachshunds by definition are hobbits. And Paranor says, putting in filler for our live show is terribly difficult. And I don't think ULA has a whole lot of filler. The commercial launches seem to have filler after filler after filler. All these space commercials, which I know we're always like, ugh, space commercials. But, like, they don't even have a reel of what this mission is going to be. Because then you need people to produce that. And it takes time and money. And then you have to make sure it doesn't have any classified information in it, etc., etc. Geo. Arnstro says, this would be a great time for me to point out that GEO orbit doesn't depend much on launch times. However, upper stage burns, separation times are a bit interesting. That's why somebody's job is literally just to do the math with that, I'm sure. Fenmill says, they should just start to show Apollo films during delays. It is the 50th after all. I think that would only be appropriate during a NASA launch. ULA works with NASA. I mean, they could put NASA films up, but I don't see them doing it. Yeah. Oh, look, here's some old footage. It's probably of ULA's, though. You know what? This is some historical stuff.
Off on May 13th, 1960, from Cape Canaveral Space Launch Complex 17. Though its first launch was not successful, the Delta team quickly pinpointed the failure and 3 months later delivered NASA's Echo 1 communication satellite to orbit. Following Echo 1, the Delta team racked up an impressive 22 successful launches. Led by Bill Schindler, the Delta rocket earned its industry workhorse moniker for rapidly establishing itself as one of the most reliable and versatile launchers.
So this is totally a space commercial.
During the 1960s.
So I'm just going to turn this down. This is just going over their history. And so on and so forth. Get it at a level where I can still kind of hear. Also, our intro also adds, also I could point out that military launches are potentially subject to the, oh no, a launch problem, our window, oh no, we'll just have to use the fallback date. We totally didn't plan to use our real one. That totally sounds like some real stuff. And Arnstro, because, you know, that was more of his specialty when he was enlisted, is probably speaking from experience. So, I mean, seeing the historical footage is nice. I mean, at least it exists and isn't lost like some episodes of Doctor Who. No, let's not even go down the road of no, Super Cowboys, they did mention one that blew up. But I think I cut into it a little too soon. Arnstro cannot confirm nor deny your query. I have totally used that answer.
as the U.S.'s primary launcher, signaling the end of the expendable launch vehicle. But in 1987, the Delta team picked up where they left off, and development began on a launch vehicle to support the Air Force's global positioning system.
You can kind of put a date on some of this footage just by the uniforms being worn.
A new chapter in space launch history as a lift
Yeah.
from Space Launch Complex 17.
They just haven't found them in a closet in Africa. Not the original, but a great replacement. Yeah, I've heard that they reconstructed them. I think, did the script survive at least?
Engineers improved the Delta rocket in several ways. The fuel tanks were stretched, a new payload fairing was developed, and larger solid rocket motors were incorporated. The modifications resulted in increased performance and flexibility.
At least we can see these rockets launch.
In the 1990s, the Delta II had delivered the fully operational 24
Last I heard, the BBC found some original episodes of Doctor Who in Egypt. What?
became a reliable partner to both NASA and
I believe it, though.
over the course of its more than 20 years.
Yeah, there are totally a lot of Doctor Who fans here.
Scientific and exploration missions.
That's pretty awesome, Paranor, that they found Doctor Who footage in Egypt. Yeah, totally a lot of Doctor Who fans. I can't currently watch any of them because they're all restricted. Which there are ways, but that's too much effort.
Star and Iridium constellations, which brought satellite telephone communication to the
I have flipped to audio only. I don't blame you, there is not much to look at right now.
of its satellite customers. The Delta team developed the more powerful Delta III. Though short-lived, the Delta III doubled the
Admiral says, I am so proud of myself. I finally remembered to use a pot holder to lift the lid off of my cast iron pan. My other pan's lids are insulated 9 out of 10 times. I grabbed the thing without thinking. Oh my goodness.
The Delta team began
Betamax. Yeah, Betamax actually, it was a thing for a while, and there are definitely, I have to reach on the corner. I still have VHS tapes hanging around. I don't have anything that can play them. I think my parents do.
begin with a common booster core powered by the RS-68 main engine. Solid rocket motors provide additional thrust at lift.
So,
And the choice of a 4
yeah.
5-meter diameter payload fairing allows
I know.
to precisely accommodate varying payload sizes.
My dad used to have a working 8-track. Not in a vehicle, he just had it in the garage.
Delivers our nation's largest mission.
So, I've listened to 8-track.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
I can't really recall if it was anything special, but I've listened to 8-track.
Delta IV launch vehicles are produced at a 1.5 million square foot state-of-the-art facility in Decatur, Alabama.
Ernster says DIVH. That must be Delta 4 Heavy.
At Cape Canaveral Air Force Station and Space Launch Complex 6 at Vandenberg Air Force Base. From its early beginning,
Video 8 tapes. Wow.
through its transformation into a space launch vehicle, Delta has reliably
And your parents still have a reel-to-reel? That's actually pretty impressive. I wonder if it's in... Sorry.
and is a testament to the persistence, dedication, and commitment of an enterprising team that has continually evolved the Delta rocket to support a changing world. And liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket.
Alright, that should keep her busy. Oh, additional footage courtesy of NASA. So they did technically show some NASA footage. Turn them back up. We'll use 3 main rockets strapped together. It is getting real dark. Tinker. And for fun, we'll have them set themselves on fire at launch. Oh my goodness. I thought we might just see what global thermonuclear war looked during that. Oh my. The dark will make it easier for Keeper of Maps to see where he's at, which I guess that's a positive for you. I don't know why they're not talking. I'm amused at the Twitter trivia that they're still advertising at the bottom of the screen. So. The only winning move is not to play. Hey, Lady Pembroke, thanks for the bits. Here's the Cheerios. Puck, speak. Speak. All right, Puck says thank you. Make it rain. All right, thanks for the bits. And it's a cute little shamrock too. That's adorable. That's adorable. Tinker made me do it. Yeah, she totally did. She's good for that, isn't she? I've never given bits before. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Lady Pembroke. Now I feel bad that my dog is just blackmailing all of you, or bribing all of you with her whines. I can't even look over there. I can see them out of the corner of my eye. I guess I could look at OBS and see them. Why is no one from ULA talking? Like, I know my sound is working. Those are not the Cheerios.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. I'm now joined by John Gadarowski, who last minute has agreed to come in and talk to us about TDRS and their capabilities and why they're important.
So yeah, thanks, Andrea. So the TDRS satellite constellation is an important asset because we use that to track the rocket and the spacecraft during ascent and during the vehicle liftoff through the tracking of the vehicle all the way until the spacecraft is separated. So the TDRS constellation is a mandatory coverage of
all right. I think they're having problems. Longest filler why? So you can find someone to get on camera.
So we just got new word that the TDRS satellite system may be back up and running. So team's still working an issue now. We can maintain our coverage and get the Delta IV ready to fly again soon.
Great, thank you so much, John.
That's what it sounds like to me when they're talking about it, which I'm always like, what are you talking about? Scrub the launch, we lost stream audio. Yeah. Now I feel like we should have kept track of how many times there were problems. Maybe that'll be our, oh no, we think it's going to scrub game. List all the errors you hear. Keep track of all the times T0 got pushed back. I know, right, Tinker? Yeah, you hear whining. You don't have to. Oh, you did suggest rapid disassembly, but they're trying to prevent rapid disassembly. They are trying so hard to prevent the rapid disassembly. Alright, so what's that fire? Is that just the liquid hydrogen burning off? Because I remember somebody saying earlier that it was like red and flamey.
LCRC Net 1.
Go RC.
Yeah, for the teams, SA, the TDRS testing is going to take a little bit longer. It looks like it'll be till 0012 Zulu before they have a full status for us.
Roger, but they are making grounds on potentially getting us the asset we need.
Yes, they're in the middle of transitioning. They've successfully, I believe, transitioned to their SA2 antenna, and they've got a test schedule that should complete at that time.
Roger, just awaiting retest.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the update.
Okay, so I did a whole bunch of math, as you can see. So they're talking that the TDRS, or the TDRS, as they like to keep calling it, will be back online and ready at 8:12 Eastern Time, and it is currently 8:06 Eastern Time. You were heard, dog. So, if you need to use the bathroom, or think you're going to need to use the bathroom in the next half hour, I suggest you go now. You have at least 6 minutes to go to the bathroom. I'm going to scoop up Tinker and put her in my lap because as much as she's staring into everybody's souls, she's whining a bit too much for my comfort. So. Hey, Ono! Alright, you, come here. Where's your blanket? Oh. Oh. Mom, I'm ready for my close-up. Mom! She's actually nesting in my lap right now. Why do you want that job, Ono? Are you not afraid of lights?
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. A status update from the TDRS network is expected shortly.
Oh, thanks for the sub! Thank you
Roger,
so
CBC
much for
both,
the
locks
sub.
and hydro.
And second stage hydrogen, the second stage locks is getting cycled now.
Roger.
Hold on, Tinker.
AC, LC, Net 1.
AC on 1.
Yes, properly it is recommending performing valve cycles. I concur with that. Any reaction from you or BSE?
Stand by.
There. That was Tinker crunching on some Oreos. Or not Oreos, Cheerios. Well, thank you for doing it. I appreciate it, Lady Pamela. And
LC, this is AC. We agree with the recommendation.
Roger.
And you all got to hear Tinker chomp on some Cheerios. The Oreos are for the humans. Hey,
PO1,
Box
LC, Net 1.
Go ahead.
You ready to proceed with foundry and valve cycle test?
Roger.
Proceed. Box 1?
Go.
You ready to proceed?
Ready.
Proceed. And field 2?
Field 2?
You ready to proceed with foundry and valve cycle test?
Ready.
Proceed.
You think this is gonna happen? I think we have 3 minutes to wait for the TDRS update. Yeah, they're launching from a Air Force base, and the military is just full of acronyms. So, yeah, it is a fairly generous launch window. We were thinking it was 2. I guess it's closer to 3. Maybe it is 2 hours. Because they said they first pushed back the launch to 7:11 Eastern, and now they're talking about how they were talking about how their launch window closed at, I think, 9:05 Eastern. So, yeah, I think that is 2 hours. So, yeah, it is a fairly generous launch window. Our instro said that for the orbit it's going into, you can have some leeway, but they're going to have to adjust timings.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The launch team is postured to resume the countdown once the tracking network is confirmed ready to support tonight's flight.
Yeah, 21:05 Eastern, which is 9:05 Eastern. But yeah, the timings and the separations are going to have to be fixed a little bit, but otherwise should be okay. Hi. You're just off camera. Here, you wanna know what? Since you missed it. Since you missed the sub puck. We're gonna do a proper throw for Lady Pembroke. Make it rain! You got yours, Tinker. Tinker's like, but where's mine, Mom? But where's mine? Aw, that's unfortunate, Arnstro. I'm glad you were able to catch some of it. I still say your employment center needs to be like, oh yeah, this is part of your volunteer hours? Sure, go for it.
LC Fuel 1.
Go Fuel 1.
Valve cycle test is complete.
Roger.
Yeah.
LC Locks 1.
Go.
Valve cycle test complete.
Roger.
LC Fuel 2.
Go.
Valve cycle test is complete.
Roger.
I am excited, and yes, please leave early for work. Do not be late for work. Oh, was that clouds? Yeah, it's probably just some white balance issues. A couple cameras are closer than the other, and yeah. Every time they yell go, I think someone's gonna hit the wrong button, says, oh no, oh my goodness. That would be terrifying, wouldn't it? They probably train for this and have like dry runs and dress rehearsals so that it's not their first time doing it when it's time to launch. They probably also practice things going wrong like this. Yeah, if it looks yellow, it's probably they chose to do the white balance different. Because the white balance will actually make things either more blue or cool or more like yellow or reddish, which is more considered more warm. See, in this one it is pretty orange. Oh no asks, why do they have fire randomly? So their fuel for this rocket is liquid hydrogen. That's H2 pressurized, so it is in a liquid state instead of the usual gas state. There's just a bird. Super Cowboy was asking about a bird. It was either a bird or a bat that flew by. So we're thinking they're burning off the excess because they constantly fuel the craft. And that's some of the venting you see coming out. That's probably the liquid oxygen, which is the oxidizer. Box says, I wasn't here. Why are they
LCLD on 1. Go. Yes, sir. Please coordinate a new T0 of 00:26.
Roger, 0026.
Good copy.
RC, LC at 1.
RC in 1.
Please coordinate a new T0 of 00:26:000.
Roger, in work.
ALC, LC net 1.
Go ahead.
Please set the clock for new T0 00:26:000.
Roger.
They moved launch time up. Didn't they? Because didn't we last... Or did they push it back again? Anyways, so for Box and everybody else that's joining us, they had a...
ALC.
Go.
Countdown clock has been set with a new T0 of 00:26 Zulu. We're at L-10 minutes.
Roger.
Cool. So that's actually really good. We are at T-10 minutes.
LCRC net 1.
Go, RC.
Range is approved. New T0 0026 Zulu.
Roger.
L-10 minutes. All communications switch to channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LC state.
LD on.
LD.
MD on 1.
And LC, we have a recommendation due to the delay. We need to adjust the second stage delta P one more time. Value's been recommended by the anomaly team.
Roger. And LC concurs. LD?
LD concurs.
MD?
MD concur.
And that was 4.20, correct?
720.
Roger. And LOX 2, you copy that recommendation?
I copy, and it's complete.
Roger. Okay, team.
Okay, yes, so...
LCRC net 1.
Go, RC.
Yeah, TDRS is operational and able to support the new T0.
Roger. Okay, team, our new T0 has been coordinated and approved, 0026. And we'll pick up the status check at L-7 minutes.
So in a minute or two, they're going to check status again for everything. So for those of you that just joined us first, the Explain It Like I'm 5 version is first a check engine light came on. They opted to ignore the check engine light.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-4 minutes and holding.
I'm going to mute her for a second because, yeah. So the check engine light came on. They decided to ignore the check engine light. They also first made sure it was safe. And then essentially the satellite system that keeps track of things that happen when they launch. So GPS satellites for satellites, or just GPS for satellites, that went down. So that's back up. That's what they were waiting for because they were able to deal with the check engine light and they were waiting for GPS to come back online. So, and now they have their checklist up and we're going to watch them go through all of their checklist. And their planned hold, which was put in place to check for things, are, you know, that's why they have the planned hold. And because it wasn't an instantaneous launch window, they had 2 hours. They can fix things like this. And it's a longer launch window because...
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs a final pulling of the launch team.
Because the orbit allows it.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. First stage systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Second stage systems, locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
COM.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Operations support.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
HASGAS.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ELA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission director.
This is EMD. You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count.
L-minus 6 minutes.
MEQ. Establish swing arm lock pins pulled.
Roger, and work.
Yeah, good ear there. But yeah, they're able to have this long of a launch window because the orbit allows it. There's more room for error.
Pulling is complete and the launch team is given a go for launch. The countdown will resume in approximately 2 minutes from now. At T-minus 4 minutes and counting, the team will enter the terminal count and will begin securing the second stage liquid oxygen tank. At T-minus 332, booster liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen tank securing is started, which includes closing the propellant fill and drain valves. Also at T-minus 332, vehicle transfer from ground facility power to its own internal battery power will be complete. At T-minus 3 minutes, the vehicle ordnance system will be armed and the booster liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen propellant tanks are verified to be at flight pressure and flight level. At 2 minutes prior to liftoff, the team will verify that the hydraulic system is pressurized, as well as confirm booster, DCSS, flight termination, and battery voltages. At T-minus 120, the team will begin securing the second stage liquid hydrogen tank. At T-minus 60 seconds, the eastern range readiness is verified. At T-minus 50 seconds, the DCSS liquid hydrogen tank is secured at flight level. A final launch vehicle and spacecraft status check is conducted at T-minus 30 seconds. At T-minus 15 seconds, the ROFIs, or sparklers, are ignited to burn off excess hydrogen at the base of the vehicle.
359.
Second stage lock secure at flight level.
5.
Ground pyros in.
And they've released the hold. That's good news.
The countdown clock is resumed and we are go for launch at 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time.
The final countdown, the real countdown. We've waited for this. That's a good boy, Puck. You are doing exactly what I want you to do. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Well, look at that tail wag.
249.
Cute dinos.
FTS internal.
BBC locks at flight pressure and flight level.
2 minutes, 1:59.
Vehicle internal.
Hydraulic press at without.
1:55.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
1:40.
FCS launch and
37.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and Eastern Range are go for launch.
1:20.
OCU's armed.
FCS count start.
Are you falling asleep? Are you tired?
T-minus 1 minute.
Box, go. Rock, report range status.
Range green.
This is happening!
50.
Second stage LH2 secure at flight level.
30.
Status check.
Go Delta.
Go WGS 10.
23.
SRM TVC blowdown.
15.
Rofi ignition.
10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket carrying the WGS-10 mission for the United States Air Force.
Passing 10 seconds into flight. RSCTA chamber pressure looks good. See good chamber pressure across all 4 SRMs.
Wow, that's loud.
20 seconds into flight. Continue to see good performance on the RS-68A engine. Now coming up on 30 seconds. 34 seconds into flight. Mach 1 Delta IV is now supersonic. SRM chamber pressure has tailed off from the max pressure as expected. Continue to see good engine performance on the RS-68 engine. Delta is now passing through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Now 55 seconds into flight. Continue to see good performance on the RS-68A engine, good performance on all 4 SRMs, nice symmetric burn. Now 1 minute, 5 seconds into flight. About 30 seconds remaining until SRM burnout. Now passing 1 minute, 15 seconds into flight. Continue to see good performance on the main engine. And standing by for SRM burnout shortly. And we have burnout on all 4 SRMs, standing by for jettison. And we have good indication of jettison of all 4 solid rocket motors. Main engine continuing to perform well, chamber pressure looks good. Now passing 1 minute, 50 seconds into flight. Vehicle's gone to closed loop guidance. The Delta IV rocket now weighs just 1/2 of its liftoff weight, burning propellant at a rate of almost 2,000 pounds per second. Now 2 minutes into flight, the second stage ACS system press valve has been opened. System pressure response looks good. And seeing good body rates on the Delta IV as it transitioned to closed loop guidance. Main engine continuing to perform well, engine parameters look good. Now 2 minutes, 18 seconds into flight. Launch vehicle is now 46 miles in altitude, 73 miles downrange distance, traveling at 5,400 miles per hour. Continue to see good performance on the main engine, passing 2 minutes, 35 seconds into flight. And body rates have nulled out now, 2 minutes, 45 seconds in. And the upper stage lock system has begun the boost phase chill down sequence to begin thermal conditioning of the RL-10 engine. Now 2 minutes remaining in the boost phase of flight. And upper stage fuel system has begun boost phase chill down. Standing by for payload fairing jettison. And we have good indication of payload fairing jettison. Approximately 20 seconds remaining until booster begins to throttle down in preparation for BECO, continuing to see good chamber pressure on the RS-68A engine. Now 3 minutes 40 seconds into flight, standing by for booster throttle down momentarily. And boosters now throttling down in preparation for BECO, standing by for BECO. And we have BECO booster engine cutoff, standing by for stage separation. And we have good indication of stage separation. Nozzle extension is deploying. We have pre-start on the RL-10, standing by for ignition. And we have ignition on the RL-10. Chamber pressure looks good. Body rates look good. This is the first burn of today's mission. This first burn will last approximately 15 minutes, 15 seconds. Now passing 4 minutes, 30 seconds into flight. RL-10 chamber pressure continues to look good. Body rates seeing a
This is Delta Mission Control at T plus 4 minutes and 48 seconds. We've just heard Patrick Moore report the successful execution of the early events for tonight's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. The Delta IV second stage and WGS satellite are traveling over the Atlantic Ocean in a southeasterly direction away from the coast of Florida. The mission is now in the first of 2 planned RL-10 engine burns. This burn will last approximately 15 minutes. Momentarily, we'll hear from Boeing's Tim Maurer to tell us more about the spacecraft. But first, let's take a look at a message from the Boeing team on what it's been like working on the WGS program.
All right, I'm going to turn this down. So Keeper of Maps says that he actually saw the launch, which is super cool. Yeah, that's super cool. These are the space commercials that they admittedly should have played earlier, but that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, congrats, Keeper. Trekker Kev, are you headed out? If so, bye. Have a good evening. Night, YYZ and Mom. You're welcome. And yeah, ULA. Go ULA! I'm not playing their launch trivia on Twitter. I mean, go for it. I don't see the harm. I'm not sure how long they're going to continue coverage. I think them playing launch trivia after that launch in like that 15 minutes was a grand idea. Good night, Canada Kim. Good night, Lady Pembroke. Thanks for feeding the puppies, Lady Pembroke. Bye, Arinstro. Drive safe. Don't die. Don't kill anyone. Don't laser anyone to death. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us. What do you think, Tink? Oh, they're back on.
Tim, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Andrea.
Great. I know I'm really excited to learn more about WGS and what you do specifically. So to go ahead and get started, what I'd like to do first is just get to know a little bit about what you do and your involvement with the WGS program.
Great. So, as you mentioned, I work on the ground system for the WGS spacecraft called the Global Satcom Configuration Control Element. I've worked on this system over various roles since 2003, very near to the initial WGS contract award in 2001. The Army uses the Global Satcom Configuration Control element to control the payload. So right now, I'm an integrated product team lead for the Mitigation and Anti-Jam Enhancement Program, or MAGE. MAGE is making changes to the WGS ground system to provide additional enhancements for mitigation and anti-jam for new capabilities for the WGS spacecraft. So as an integrated product team lead, it is my responsibility to ensure that the team focuses on the right priorities to meet our schedule and deliverables. I also work with our customer, the United States Air Force, to ensure that they're fully involved in the process and are satisfied with our approach and progress.
Oh, great. Quite a bit of integration that you do. I can see that. And it's really important that you meet those schedule milestones. So I can really appreciate that. Obviously, it's very important to get those secure communications out. So.
Absolutely.
Great. So now that we know a little bit about what you do and your involvement in the WGS program, I want to learn more about WGS itself. So I'm going to dive into a couple of questions about that.
Certainly.
Sounds great. So how does Boeing design and build secure communications features into the satellite?
So first it starts with the mission. In this case, providing secure, high bandwidth communications for warfighters, ground stations, and vehicles worldwide 24/7. From there, capabilities and requirements are defined and designs created. Next, hardware is built and integrated in our factory back in California, where we test our satellites in environments that exceed what we predict will occur in space. Once that is done, I guess really the question is more not how we do it, but why we do it. As a Boeing employee, this is really more than just a job to me. The products we build serve a greater purpose to protect not only every American, but also our allies. When I walk into work, I know that I'm designing and building the tools that will protect liberty and freedom throughout the world.
That's such an amazing and inspiring message that you just put out there. I think that, you know, in the aerospace industry, especially when we're talking about national security and bringing home our soldiers safe from war, there's no better reason to go to work and do a good job every single day. So thank you for all of the effort that you've done to, you know, work on these WGS satellites and make them be very effective out there, especially on the warfield.
Thank you. It's an absolute honor for me, and I know the rest of the team.
Great. All right, so you did mention a little bit about building and testing. Can you expand on that a little bit?
So most of the satellites that Boeing builds, both government and commercial, come out of our factory back in El Segundo, California. The things that we do to test basically simulate the environment we expect the satellite to be in. Everything from the launch environment, which we just saw with the vibrations and noise, to the space environment with things like radiation and temperature extremes. So in testing, we really have to stress the satellite to put it through its paces that we predict it will be in. So the satellite's payload really is what performs the mission of the satellite. I guess one of our, basically at our factory, we do everything from design, development, manufacturing, integration, and test. So once everything is complete with the integration and test and we've stress tested it, we next move on to making sure that it's ready for launch. Once it's ready for launch, basically it is containerized and shipped to the launch site. So for WGS-10, for example, it moved from our factory to the LAX airport, boarded a Boeing-built C-17 aircraft, and flew here to Florida. So once at its launch destination, it goes through a few more tests before it's finally encapsulated and prepped for launch.
So there's quite a bit of testing that goes on throughout the entire process.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And it's really nice that you have all of those integrated facilities at Boeing. So not only do you do the testing and the development, but you also do transportation and follow the satellite through the entire process.
Full process, yeah.
Yes, and you know, I always think test like you fly. We love to say that all the time. So like you said, we saw a really harsh environment.
Yes.
We felt it here. We literally felt the floor move.
Yep.
So it's amazing that these satellites can handle those type of
yes,
environments.
Definitely.
All right, so we've talked a lot about Boeing and how they build the satellites and things like that, but there's much more than just building. We're going to launch today, and then after the launch, what's next? What does Boeing do to support the WGS constellation?
So WGS is controlled by two different systems on the ground. One is primarily responsible for the platform, or flying the satellite. This is keeping it in its designated orbital slot and pointed correctly, as well as changing orbital slots if necessary. The other system is responsible for configuration and monitoring of the payload, so pointing antennas, configuring routes through the channelizer to connect uplinks and downlinks, and a few other configuration parameters. So the payload control system itself was developed by Boeing in parallel with the construction of the WGS satellites. That system is deployed at various sites around the world, and it is what's used to collectively manage the configuration of the WGS fleet. In addition to developing the payload control system, Boeing also supports through their sustainment services, the day-to-day payload and platform operations of the WGS constellation. So I mentioned MAGE earlier. This is the ground-based anti-jam enhancement that will use existing WGS capabilities to geolocate where interference is coming from and then shape beams to mitigate that interference. So in addition to MAGE, to further improve the security of the communications that our service members use every day, Boeing is working with the Air Force to roll out another ground system in the early 2020s that will enhance protected tactical communications over WGS. So this system is called the Protected Tactical Enterprise Service, or PTES. PTES is a global military satellite communications ground system. PTES will use WGS satellites to allow service members to use the Protected Tactical Waveform, which is one of the U.S. Department of Defense's secure anti-jam waveforms. So we are proud to partner with the Air Force because we know the work that we have done on the WGS satellites really play into a larger system that ensure critical communications for our soldiers and service members so that they are never alone and they always have the information they need to execute their mission.
It's incredible that you say that, and like I said before in a previous question, it really gives you no better job satisfaction knowing that you're able to do things like that. But bringing home people safe and being able to always have that constant communication, I don't think there's anything quite like it.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Sure.
All right, so I just have one more question for you.
Okay.
Boeing has a robust history, as you know, of building satellites, about 50 years or so between commercial and military type satellites. What is it about WGS that makes it unique?
So WGS is a really interesting looking satellite. One of the most distinguishable features on the satellite are the solar panels. So WGS satellites employ highly efficient space solar cells made by Spectrolab, which is a Boeing subsidiary in California. So on the sides of the satellite are the Ka band antennas. There's also two large polygons on the top, which are the X-band phased array antennas. These polygons hold many different antennas, or horns as we say, and we can phase those antennas together to create beams that we can then point to create our communications. We can also shape those to enable the anti-jam capability. Deep in the cavity of the satellite, behind the radiator panels, is our Generation 6 channelizer. You can think of a channelizer as a computerized switchboard in space that would connect a ship to a commander in the field, for example. So this channelizer, which was also included on WGS 8 and 9, nearly doubles the available bandwidth as compared to earlier WGS satellites.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible.
It really is.
So WGS is very unique, is the answer
Absolutely.
to that question. Great. So We've learned a lot today about WGS, and you are very knowledgeable on the systems, and I know we very much appreciate your time, but we have another video from Boeing where we're going to go into a little bit more detail on WGS. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Okay.
Virtually every military mission relies on satellite communications. From data gathered by UAVs to teleconferencing between military leaders, WGS is the backbone of our military's ability to communicate.
Okay, so I'm just gonna turn this down because it's a space commercial, and there's nothing wrong with space commercials. I just feel like we need a break from that. So I didn't know that the KA band was a subset of the K band, which I am kind of embarrassed to admit. Ooh, thank you for the link, DPI. So yeah, I'll add that to my trivia mindset. And again, as a reminder to all of you, if I ever get something wrong, feel free to correct me. I won't be offended. In fact, please tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to repeat incorrect information. I tend to have a habit of getting numbers wrong in my head, but I also have a weird habit for remembering odd tidbits of things that I've read. So, oh, so the middle is just K. Okay, so it's not a subset, but it originally was part of a larger K band. Okay, that's good enough for me. KA is a microwave wavelength police radar for speeding. Oh, things are back.
We have begun the thruster activity to correct the body rate dispersions as expected.
As you just heard, we just saw the successful execution of MECA 1. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today and telling us all about WGS. It was great to have you.
Thank you, Andrea. It was my pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, I just have to make a comment here. I know this model is somebody's baby, but I wish they would have taken more time with it. I'm just going to assume they did the best they could with the time they had. Because, I mean, all the bits are correct. I just don't like the shadings and so forth. And the fact that they have, like, the engines going, especially if that's synced with what the actual engines are doing, that would be pretty cool.
Second stage is now turning to the MES 2 attitude as expected.
But yeah, I feel like they should have spent just a little more time with this 3D model.
Now 21 minutes.
All right. I am now joined by Sam Wiley. Sam, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Great. I know we have a couple of questions to ask you about WGS, so why don't we go ahead and get started?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Why don't you start off this interview by telling me a little bit about WGS?
Okay. WGS provides flexible, high-capacity tactical communications to the Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and our international partners. WGS is one program of 6 divisions at the Satcom Systems Directorate at SMC in Los Angeles. The Satcom Directorate develops, acquires, deploys, and sustains space-enabled, war-winning global communications.
It's amazing that we've been able to partner with our allies in such a meaningful way. Can you tell us, you mentioned a little bit about...
So I'm going to turn this down because I'm not entirely too sure who she's talking to, but some of it's, like, I'm really only interested in the comms traffic.
A communication satellite must...
But I can't parse the two apart from the interview. So I'm just going to turn them down. Because this is a military mission, there's going to be a lot of military stuff that comes up, and everybody has different feelings about it. So, yeah, it's... Yeah. It's a complicated relationship. I mean, the satellite's important, but just, yeah, I don't want to get too far into it. As Paranor says, look, space and military have gone hand in hand since inception. And yeah, you're right. A lot, when the Soviet program was coming around, they wanted civilian and military programs to run at the same time. Soviets were the first ones to put space stations, and they were just literally one unit things. I don't think the first modular space station occurred until Mir, and that was also Soviet. And the technologies learned from the Soviet space stations essentially applied to the International Space Station. So yeah, but it's, I do remember that a lot of like Soyuz military plans, like they wanted to make a whole separate craft. A lot of those got scrapped just straight from the jump. They said, nope, we're not going to do this military stuff. We're going to focus on the space exploration. And, yeah, I know, Tinker. Yeah. And I forgot where I was going with that, quite frankly.
So our viewers may not know this, but
so,
WGS-10 is the last...
Oh, the space stations. Oh, some of the Soviet space stations, they were all launched. I think there were 10 of them that were launched. Not all of them were successful. Not all of the ones that even made it into orbit were boarded. That's very important information to know. Because I think there were like 9 of them, more or less, that were launched. Maybe I'm thinking of something else too. But some of them that went up were really part of a military program and like reconnaissance, instead of just like, here, let's do science in microgravity. Some of it was recon. There was a special run of the Soyuz made to rendezvous with one of the Apollo capsules, and 2 of those were actually made. So what do you do with a, you know, a perfectly functional spacecraft that you don't need? You send it up to the atmosphere. So they launched that second perfectly good Soyuz that was modified to attach to a middle thing that attached to the Apollo. And yeah, people suspect that it went up for recon.
We have about 4 minutes until main engine start 2. While we wait, let's take a look at my conversation with Brett Bushy, ULA trajectory engineer, who I had the opportunity to speak with prior to MST roll. Hi, I'm here today at Space Launch Complex 37 with an engineer from ULA, Brett. Brett, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
As you can see, we're pretty excited because you can see the Delta IV rocket right behind us, and it's a beautiful day. Brett, why don't you start off by telling us about what you do at ULA?
So I currently serve as the Flight Design Certified Responsible Engineer. So I serve as the focal point between the various launch vehicle, hardware and analysis teams and the spacecraft customer as we go through the integration process to come up with a mission design that satisfies not only the spacecraft requirements but also the launch vehicle system and subsystem level requirements. I first started as a trajectory engineer about 29 years ago and progressed through the ranks to actually get this position, and I've been lucky enough to work with a great team of engineers.
What's been your involvement with the WGS program as a whole?
So our group basically takes the inputs from all the various launch vehicle groups and integrates those all into a cohesive trajectory that meets not only the internal launch vehicle requirements but also the spacecraft requirements. So that we go through several different trajectory cycles where we refine the design and improve it, and we basically our team comes out with a final product, and then my job is to review that final product before it goes out the door and sign off on that trajectory design such that that's what gets loaded onto the vehicle and that's what we end up flying. So our group also integrates with a lot of various different organizations to actually make this all happen. So not only do we integrate and interface with the spacecraft customer, we also integrate and interface with the 45th Space Wing to get their approval that our flight plan is acceptable. So it's been great that I've been able to work with a great team of engineers who I've actually seen on a lot of these broadcasts over the years.
In tonight's mission profile, we saw a brief overview of what today's trajectory will look like. Can you expand on that a little bit?
So as you've seen on the broadcast, this mission is typical for an Eastern Range mission where we fly due east when we come off the pad. So we do about a 4-minute burn of the booster, and then we follow that up with about a 15-minute burn of the upper stage, and then go into about a 10-minute park orbit coast. And then we follow that up with a 3-minute burn of the upper stage, and then 4 minutes later we separate the spacecraft into a supersynchronous transfer orbit, which is a little bit different than what a typical geosynchronous transfer orbit is, in that we put it into a higher apogee altitude than what geosynchronous altitude would normally be. And the reason we do this is that actually helps the spacecraft in their propellant utilization and tries to minimize what they actually need to get to their final orbit.
As you know, ULA has launched the previous 9 WGS satellites. Can you provide us with more detail on that history?
So we started about 11 years ago launching the first WGS spacecraft. We launched that on an Atlas V vehicle. In fact, we launched the first 2 WGS satellites on Atlas V vehicles. And WGS was actually designed to be a dual integrated spacecraft, so it can launch on both an Atlas V and a Delta IV. So the last 7 launches will have been on Delta IV launch vehicles. So starting with WGS-3, we launched on a Delta Medium 5-4 vehicle configuration. As the Delta IV vehicle evolved and we upgraded the engines, we went back and redesigned the trajectory several different times as we've gone through the various WGS launches, with the last WGS-10 launch culminating in our common avionics upgrades on the Delta IV vehicle.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for joining us today. I know I learned a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get back to the launch.
RL-10 engine operating parameters continue to look good, now passing 30 minutes, 7 seconds into flight.
This is Delta Mission Control at T plus 30 minutes, 13 seconds. As just reported, the RL-10 engine has been restarted. Our next event, MECO 2, will occur soon.
RL-10 chamber pressure, LOX and LH2 inlet pressures all look good. And seeing good body rates throughout this second burn. And seeing some periodic thruster activity as expected. Seeing the ACS line temperatures are staying very close to bottle temperatures. Now 2 minutes remaining in the burn. Now passing 31 minutes into flight. About 1.5 minutes remaining in the burn. RL-10 engine operating parameters continue to look good, seeing good stable body rates throughout the second burn, and seeing consistent values on the LOX and LH2 tank pressures. And about 1 minute remaining until main engine cutoff. Engine continuing to perform well throughout the second burn. Thrust chamber pressure maintaining a good value.
We are now approaching main engine cutoff 2. Let's listen in.
Now standing by in approximately 10 seconds for engine cutoff. And we have MECO, main engine cutoff. Body rates are damping out nicely from the cutoff transients, seeing thruster activity to recover.
We've just heard confirmation of the successful cutoff of the Arlton engine. The mission is now in a 4-minute coast phase, flying above Western Africa. Separation will occur over the southwest coast of Madagascar, approximately 40 degrees east longitude and 18 degrees south latitude. All right, now let's go ahead and welcome back Sam. Sam, thanks for being here again.
All right.
I think we have a very exciting thing. We're going to announce our Twitter winners.
All right, let's do it. Let's get started.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. Question number 1 was, when was Wideband Global Satcom 1 launched and on what rocket?
And the answer is WGS-1 was launched by an Atlas V 421 rocket on October 10th, 2007. Congratulations to @Close to Space.
Yeah, you get a prize. Woohoo! Okay, question 2. How many WGS satellites launched on Atlas V rockets? How many WGS satellites launched on Delta IV rockets?
And the answer is 2 satellites, WGS-1 and WGS-2 launched on Atlas V rockets, and 7, now 8, launched on Delta IV rockets. Congratulations to @Tadastaraska.
Yeah, congrats. Okay, next question. Who is the exclusive launch service provider for Wideband Global Satcom satellite constellation? If people get this wrong, that would be embarrassing.
Very. And the answer is United Launch Alliance. Congratulations to @Skip Lacombe or LA Combe. Congrats.
All right, our final question. One more winner. How many allied nations collaborated with the U.S. military on WGS-9?
And the answer is 5 nations partnered with the U.S. military on WGS-9. Canada, Denmark, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and New Zealand. Congratulations to @HighFlightPhotos. Congrats to all our winners.
Congrats, you guys. I hope your prize is amazing. All right, we're really close to spacecraft separation now. Let's go ahead and get back to the flight.
Apogee, perigee, and inclination all look very close to pre-flight predictions. Now just 1 minute remaining until spacecraft separation. Vehicle body rates remaining close to null as the vehicle is staying in its desired spacecraft separation attitude. And seeing settling thruster activity as the vehicle prepares for spacecraft sep. Now 30 seconds remaining until separation. Standing by for spacecraft sep. And we have good indication of spacecraft separation.
Sam, we just heard evidence of successful stage separation with WGS-10 satellite. Congratulations.
Thank you, Andrea. This is another important milestone for our warfighters, our nation, and our allies. Go wideband and hang 10.
Great indication there. I'd also like to thank Patrick Moore for providing us with launch commentary today. If you want to learn more about today's launch and United Launch Alliance, please visit our website, ULAlaunch.com. You can also visit us on Facebook and Twitter. We'll leave you now with another look at liftoff of the Delta IV rocket carrying the Air Force's 10th WGS satellite. I'm Andrea Lenhoff. On behalf of the entire launch team, thank you for joining us and have a great night. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket carrying the WGS-10 mission for the United States Air Force.
Passing 10 seconds into flight. RSCT chamber pressure looks good. Yeah, good chamber pressure. SRM's nice and measured. 20 seconds. Continue to see good performance on the RS-68A engine. Now coming up on 30 seconds. 34 seconds into flight. Mach 1 Delta IV is now supersonic. SRM chamber pressure has tailed off.
Alright, I'm going to bring the sound down on that and mute their stream. Give me a second to get everything kind of flipped over. Let's see, where are the dogs? Here we go. Make sure you guys have some puppy love. Alright, give me 1 second to essentially get oriented, and Keeper of Maps said I could share the images that he sent, so here we go. Thanks for the follow! And because I muted their thing, I muted all the things, so yeah! Thanks for the follow, Mr. Thanks for the follow, Mister. So, per follows and subscriptions and all this other things, we get to make it rain so to watch the dogs get to be happy. Make it rain! So yeah, thanks, Mister. So yeah, that's the first one. Give me a second. I got a little distracted. There's a series of 4 images, and they are amazing. Thank you so much, Keeper of Maps, for sharing these. Yeah, so those are his images. I'll pull up OBS where I can see it. So, now that you've gotten a chance to look at those, so I was working on, during the last bit, making my Captain molecule. That's Kapton molecule, more correct. And this is half of it. Because before I had this as a straight bond, and it really should be curved. Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing the specs. So all the other, yeah, as Fenmel says, Captain, my Captain. So all the other, so all us other camera geeks can geek out about it. But yeah, I fixed the bonds on half of it. I was trying to use the colors to demonstrate atom colors, and until my new parts come in, just pretend that the gray is carbon. These are essentially Lego. Oh, I have one too many hydrogens on here. These are essentially chemical molecule Legos. They're just they just snap together and apart because the Captain molecule model is kind of long. I tear it apart at this nitrogen carbon bond. And since I know some of you have seen this more than once, and some of you have never seen this before, these white balls are hydrogen. The bits in the middle are the actual atoms. The lines in between are the bonds. Yes, there are also double bonds because these are essentially 2 benzene rings together. No, that's not attached there. So this is the half I still have to fix, and I'll get to that eventually. And on this side, this end is an atom. It bothered me to add the little thingies to it because the red is oxygen and it has 2 bonds, as you can kind of see there. So it doesn't have any free lone pairs to bond with anything else. String Theory says, I'm near ignorant with regards to photography. That's okay. And it's okay to know that. There are some people that can explain the ins and outs of, the physics behind how the camera works, but can't take a decent picture. And there are people that don't wholly grasp what all the things mean and take good pictures. So, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. The technology's allowed us to have that kind of a divide. As DPI points out, digital ISO is quite a bit easier. So, yeah. Yeah, and like many things in my life, I know enough to be dangerous. And I also know how to take 360-degree photos and edit them together as well. So, not a marketable job skill in Youngstown. Because even though the technology is really cool and really useful, everybody's like, that's cool. But that's not something people pay me to do. I also don't own the equipment, but I can do it. Yeah. Some things you just get better with practice. So, anybody have any questions? This is your time to ask. This is your last chance for questions. I'm going to unclutter my screen a bit. While I wait for questions, this is your standard station identification. This stream is a part of CosmoQuest. Normally, we stream Sundays through Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is now -4 UTC. Monday through Friday is Daily Space, your almost daily news update on all things astronomy. And Sundays, you get to watch me colorize telescope data. We don't typically stream on Saturdays. What else? Also, you can go to the CosmoQuest website to do a whole bunch of science. If it's working. I'm not sure if it's working. And we are in association with Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Arizona, where it is probably at least warm. And Youngstown State University in windy, not so bad outside, Youngstown, Ohio. We are brought to you by you. So yeah, everyone that's donated, bought merch, subscribed, sent bits. Thank you. Really. You guys make this possible. Thank you a lot. Not only are the dogs really happy about extra bits, I'm really happy that I can continue having a job. Oh, look! And it's the rest of my bits too. My Cheerios. All right, dogs, are you ready? We'll just kind of ungracefully pour them over there as I just poured them all onto Puck's back. So that was the rest of the Cheerios in my thing. So yeah, we're brought to you by you. If you cannot afford to buy merch, subscribe, donate, contribute bits, that's okay. That's perfectly okay. Follows are free. Follows are a little bit different than subscribe if you've never done one or the other. It's there somewhere under the map or under the button. You can hang out with us in chat. You don't even have to be a follower to talk in chat, I think. And there's always our Discord if you want to catch up with us outside of the stream. Oh my goodness, Fenmill's making me reach for the box, which is almost empty. I hope I get to go to the store tomorrow. This is how many Cheerios are remaining. Alright, Puck. Speak. Speak! Come on, speak! Say thank you. He's feeding you all of these Cheerios. Least you can do is say thank you. Speak. Alright, Puck says thank you and I say thank you. Here's the Cheerios. Make it rain! Alright, so, Dog Cam. Hi, Asterion! We're just wrapping up. So, but yeah. Yeah, come hang out with us on our Discord. And if you ever miss a stream, it'll be archived on YouTube. So, yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube, come join us for the live streams. You're missing out on all the fun. I mean, it takes very little for me to throw Cheerios at the dogs, and the dogs love it every single time, and so does chat. And occasionally, a wild cat appears on the stream. The elusive elderly wild cat. Alright, so I'm going to scroll up now. I'm going to scroll up now and look for questions that may have came in during the station identification. And I see a lot of things. Fenmill says, when are we doing this again, CosmoQuest? I think the next launch is the 21st, unless it slips again. So yeah, there's no launch tomorrow. I thought originally there was supposed to be 3 launches on Pi Day, and then there was going to be 3 launches 3 days in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And the Saturday launch slipped. So yeah, I don't think there's a launch again till the 21st. Again, check rocketlaunch.live for... No, is it Rocket Launch? It is rocketlaunch.live for updates. Yep, the 21st. 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be Prisma by Vega, which we talked about the last time I did Daily Space. And where we did my Wednesday spacecraft update. Scrolling through. How many toilets are there in space? Right now there are 4 toilets in space. The website is not working yet, but domain names have been purchased. Need to get more O's. I will make it rain. Dog Cam. Here's the Cheerios, and there are happy doggos. They are so happy. Fenmill says, I just get a stupid grin on my face that make me feel good when I bit the doggos. By bit, he means donating bits, which causes Cheerios to fly, which makes my dogs extremely happy. And as Tinker is wont to do, especially right now, stare deep into your souls and beg for more Cheerios. So, yeah. Fenmill says, I have never seen the kitty. Has a sad now. He is very elusive. I did buy cat treats for him. Here's the proof that I have cat treats for him. The last time he was out here, I tried to get him cat treats and he didn't want any. So I may have to try a liquid form of cat treats, which may be a special order. We will see. The reason why you don't see the cat along the dog very much is my cat loves one of my dogs and doesn't like the other one so much. The fluffy dog, or Puck, likes to chase the cat, and Tinker, the Dachshund, literally enjoys grooming the cat. So, yeah. My cat has a love-hate relationship with my dogs. It is very interesting when all of us are in the bedroom at once. So, okay, so I think that was it for questions and so on and so forth. And we had a successful launch, even though we thought it was going to be scrubbed. And yeah, I will see you guys again for sure on Sunday. And on Monday, we might start around 9 p.m. And it seems like building the bingo cards together was a hit. So yeah, we'll start at about 9 p.m. and build the bingo cards together. Why not? And all the other things. So yeah, until Sunday, have a great weekend wherever you are, because the weekend is not over yet. Have a great day, evening, morning. Be nice to each other, and all those other fun things. So I'm going to awkwardly roll the credits, because it's always awkward when I do it. And actually, while I'm waiting for that to load, let me look to see if there's anybody in TKF that's active right now that I can raid. And we'll give it a shot. So, yeah. I don't know who we're going to raid. We'll find out. So, yeah, I'm going to roll the credits. Thank you again to everybody, and I'll see you soon.